Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
this is us down here. Hello. So up there behind us is what's known as Belfast Castle.
Belfast. Yes, we are in Belfast.
We're in Belfast, so this is Belfast
Like you
Castle.
do.
So we just went out for a little walk.
Yeah, from Watford.
From Watford to Belfast. And yeah, we're here reading Srimad Bhagavatam, doing the Bhagavatam Bites. And we'll try to do a few more. We're here for the weekend. I'm conducting a wedding, which hopefully will be on Bhakti Vision in a few days.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Meanwhile, it's simultaneously hot and cold.
Yeah, now it's cold.
As soon as the sun goes behind the cloud just a little bit, it becomes chilly.
True.
Okay.
All right, we're Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 1, because we're starting a new chapter called Sati Quits Her Body. Now it's really...
Now it's like dust storms blowing.
Now it's heating up.
Okay. Okay. Pastime is heating up, not our climate here.
No. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, the chapter is entitled Sati Quits Her Body.
I said that.
I didn't think you did, but okay.
That's because you're talking over me. All right, text 1.
I don't think you need to hold it like you're a presenter on television or something.
I need a microphone.
It's just the camera is way far away from us and down a hill. So anyway, go ahead.
The sage Maitreya said, Lord Shiva was silent after speaking to Sati, seeing her between decisions. Sati was very much anxious to see her relatives at her father's house, but at the same time she was afraid of Lord Shiva's warning. Her mind unsettled, she moved in and out of the room as a swing moves this way and that.
You can just picture it, basically. She's annoyed.
She's pacing.
Pacing, yeah.
Purport. Sati's mind was divided about whether to go to her father's house or obey the orders of Lord Shiva. The struggle between the two decisions was so strong that she was pushed from one side of the room to the other, and she began to move just like the pendulum of a clock. Because what happens is that we get agitated and we're like unsettled, you know? You're not calm. So she's, kind of what we say, worked up, basically.
Kind of what we say, worked up.
Because she hasn't taken the good counsel of her husband, who is qualified, being Lord Shiva, to give good advice. And why? Because she is determined to go, wants to go to her father's house. And as we previously said, okay, not just because it's her dad's house, her mum and sisters will be there, but because there is that sense of justice. And it's like, wait a minute, why isn't my husband being invited? And why, she's aware of the situation. And so it's like the desire is to go elsewhere. Hence, her husband had to advise her not to, if that makes sense. And therefore, she's agitated. Okay, text 2.
Never mind then.
So they're looking at the castle.
Okay, text 2. Sati felt very sorry at being forbidden to go see her relatives at her father's house, and due to affection for them, tears fell from her eyes. Shaking and very much afflicted, she looked at her uncommon husband, Lord Shiva, as if she were going to blast him with her vision. Well, that's pretty intense. Okay, purport. The word apratipurusham used in this verse means one who has no equal. Apratipurusham. Lord Shiva has no equal in the material world in regard to equality towards everyone. His wife Sati knew that her husband was equal towards everyone. So why, in this case, was he so unkind to his wife that he did not allow her to go to her father's house? This distressed her more than she could tolerate, and she looked at her husband as if she were ready to blast him with her vision. In other words, since Lord Shiva is the Atma, Shiva also means Atma. So, since Lord Shiva is the Atma, because Shiva also means Atma, it is indicated here that Sati was prepared to commit suicide. Another meaning of the word apratipurusha is the personality who has no rival. Since Lord Shiva could not be persuaded to give her permission, Sati took shelter of a woman's last weapon, weeping, which forces a husband to agree to the proposal of his wife. Well, there you go. What can be said? Fortunately, my wife hardly ever, if ever, has used weeping. She's not really a weeping type of person.
I do have emotions.
I didn't say that. Yeah, so this is interesting. Just as noted, I'm sure someone will take offense to that somewhere along the way. But yeah, this is like in the pastime of Lord Ram. You know, we hear that when Dasharat returned, that Kaikeyi was in her weeping room, isn't it called?
Yeah.
Weeping room,
Weeping chamber.
Weeping or
Chamber. It was,
sulking chamber.
So
Weeping room or sulking chamber. Yeah. So so in that way, you know, it's like the queen had her own place to go and sulk and weep, you know, so like that. Okay.
Okay, text 3. Thereafter, Sati left her husband, Lord Shiva, who had given her half his body due to affection. Breathing very heavily because of anger and bereavement, she went to the house of her father. This less intelligent act was due to her being a weak woman.
Oh God, here we go.
Well, he didn't say because she's a woman, it's a weak woman, just so she can get weak man. So that's fine, you know. That's true. Mm-hmm. And she is, I'm going to be honest, it's not right. But she got told.
What's not right?
It's obvious. Why are you going there? You know you're going to get upset.
Oh, okay. So it's obvious she shouldn't go to her father's place. Okay.
Anyway, purport. According to the Vedic conception of family life, the husband gives half his body to his wife, and the wife gives half of her body to her husband. In other words, a husband without a wife, or wife. It's just when we read these things and people over here, they're like, what?
Who cares?
Or without.
Start at the beginning again.
In other words, a husband without.
That wasn't the beginning.
Oh my days! According to the Vedic conception of family life, the husband gives half his body to his wife, and the wife gives half of her body to her husband. In other words, a husband without a wife or a wife without a husband is incomplete. Vedic marital relationship existed between Lord Shiva and Sati, but sometimes due to weakness, a woman becomes very much attracted by the members of her father's house, and this happened to Sati. In this verse, it is specifically mentioned that she wanted to leave such a great husband as Shiva because of her womanly weakness. In other words, womanly weakness exists even in the relationship between husband and wife. Generally, separation between husband and wife is due to womanly behavior. Divorce takes place due to womanly weakness. Oh my God. The best course for a woman is to abide by the orders of her husband. Jeepers. That makes family life very peaceful. Sometimes there may be misunderstandings between husband and wife, as found even in such an elevated family relationship as that of Sati and Lord Shiva. but a wife should not leave her husband's protection because of such a misunderstanding. If she does so, it is understood to be due to her womanly weakness. It's quite controversial. I don't believe, my understanding is that Srila Prabhupada wouldn't encourage a woman to stay in a relationship, in a marriage, if she was being abused and hurt in any way. That's not weakness, that's strength to get out. That's my public announcements. Especially, anyway, so, but, yeah, we do see, but yeah, it's quite an interesting one. It's interesting because I was reading it and I was thinking, as long as the husband is of sound mind, I don't really have a problem with listening to a husband.
What?
No, but if they're crazy and they're like not all
so
there.
So I have sound mind?
Yeah, I said the husband.
How about your husband?
Yeah, this is about Shiva and Sati anyway.
You're making a general comment. I'm trying to specify it.
Yeah. So husbands that are of sound mind, it's because it's a partnership, it's a relationship. If you're going to act independent, then how's it going to work? The whole point is a union. You come together.
Mm-hmm.
I said it previously, like sometimes devotees. So I've had friends like that where brahmachari grihastas, it's just an oxymoron in itself. What's a brahmachari grihasta? You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, Prabhupada coined that phrase and it has a certain context and specific meaning.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't mean that there shouldn't be any affection or love. Otherwise, go back to the brahmachari ashram if you even went there in the first place.
We'll go and get a flatmate and then they can just discuss who pays half the bill and don't eat my bread in the fridge and don't leave the milk out and things like that,
Yeah, kind of thing.
But, yeah, I think that's where I'm at. It's like, I don't think there's a problem with listening to your spouse. I think there's a problem if you have a problem with listening to your spouse, because it seems quite sad, almost like, well, why are you together,
Well, I mean, you say listening to your spouse, but what does that mean for some people? It may mean, no, you really have to listen. Like if he says, don't park the car there. If he says,
no, but
we're moving here, we're doing this, is that what you're saying? I mean, listening is one thing. Okay, when I'm speaking, you're actually listening to me. That's one thing. But listening to what I say or what the spouse, meaning in this specific situation, the husband says,
good
means
advice.
That you listen to him.
Good advice.
You do what he says. You keep your bloody mouth shut. It's like that.
No.
Well, that's what is meant to hear, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a controversy.
Or that could be understood as the extreme version.
Exactly.
What was your point? Have you made a point yet?
No.
Have you finished making any points?
No, I'm finished. It's text 4.
Oh, I don't want to go to text 4.
Oh.
I wanted to say something.
What? All right, you can say something.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm of sound mind, so you can listen to me. Listen to me what? Chant, listen to me talk,
Well, we're sure we all listen to you talk.
Well, some people like it. Vote down below. Just say thumbs up, yo. We like it when Johnny Nitai talks. So, anyway, it is challenging, and one might argue it is traditional. But the husband or the male false ego, the embodiment in a male body, has a certain kind of nature or tendency to it, and that means that generally a male's body is a controller. He has more Ishwara Bhav, and usually the lady is more submissive. That's a generalization, but that's the general idea. And that isn't something just from Vedic culture. I mean, even in, my grandparents and great-grandparents had some sort of similar type of thing. It was only later that started to change. But prior, he was the breadwinner. He made the decisions. He handled, sorting out the house. He sorted out, making sure everything was, and he gave shelter. And he was the hero, and she was the heroine. Not heroin like the drug, but the heroine, under the hero.
Well, it could be the same thing, because the woman is a weakness for the man,
Oh, my Lord. Okay, so, anyway, she's kind of sheltered and safe. Now, the irony is that he thinks he's in charge, but everything he's doing is to satisfy and please her. So one may question who's actually in charge. So the point is that by humbly submitting oneself to the husband is won over, and the husband becomes subservient actually to the lady. That is the general rule, and that is why many times it is said that the woman is really the controller. Wherever we go.
I know, they start making
noise. Start mowing the lawn, for Lord's sake.
We can't even go to as far away as Belfast without someone making noise.
God, looking at the weed whacker man over there. Anyway, the point I was going to make wasn't necessarily that. The point I was going to make was that, because I'm conducting a wedding tomorrow, interestingly enough, and it says here, according to the Vedic conception of family life, the husband gives half his body to the wife, and the wife gives half her body to the husband. And so I just made a note that's a really powerful thing. Shastrically, according to the Vedic culture, there are two halves that are incomplete until they find their partner. Then they become a complete whole. Otherwise, they remain feeling incomplete. And we see that.
Yeah.
That a lot of people who haven't managed to get married or don't get married, they feel like something is incomplete in their life. Even if they're devotees and they find Krishna, I mean, it's, you really have to be quite a balanced and renounced person to not feel like you need to have that other part of yourself. Yeah, that companionship kind of thing.
It's so true.
Okay, so next verse is short. I'm supposed to read?
Yeah.
So text 4. When they saw Sati leaving alone very rapidly, thousands of Lord Shiva's disciples, headed by Maniman and Mada, quickly followed her with his bull Nandi in front and accompanied by the Yakshas. Purport. Sati was going very fast so that she might not be checked by her husband, because she was
go in those doors. I mean, these people don't know we're reading. It's okay.
Sati was going very fast so she might not be checked by her husband, but she was immediately followed by the many thousands of disciples of Lord Shiva, headed by the Yakshas, Maniman and Mada. The word Gata Vyata, used in this connection, means without fear. Sati did not care that she was going alone. Therefore, she was almost fearless. The word Anuchara is also significant, for it indicates that Lord Shiva's disciples were always ready to sacrifice anything for Lord Shiva. Oh my dear Lord Sri Hari, how noisy can it get? Shouting. Hey Bhagawan. Okay. Disciples were always ready to sacrifice anything for Lord Shiva. All of them could understand the desire of Shiva, who did not want Sati to go alone. Anuchara means those who can immediately understand the purpose of their master. Okay, interesting. Nice name for a disciple. Anuchara. Okay, yes, so those who can immediately understand the purpose of their master. So that's really the essence, that then The servants of Lord Shiva immediately followed her to protect her, but she was fearless in leaving in one sense, but in the same sense she was just basically so fried that she didn't want to be stopped by her husband, so she speedily rushed off like that.
But he sent protection.
But yeah, so he continued to give shelter.
And boy, did he send back up.
Okay, so we'll stop there.
All right.
Thank you all very much for your kind attention and for continuing to tune in.
Yeah.
And stick with us as we travel around and read Bhagavatam. So now we're in the 4th canto and moving steadily through. So read Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai.